What if every local LLM you run automatically worked with your OpenAI code? Docker Model Runner does exactly that. One command, OpenAI API out of the box. First, let me explain the problem that's been annoying every AI engineer. If you've been running local LLMs, you know the pain. You need Ollama or LM Studio or VLLM, each with its own CLI, its own config files, its own update cycle. And if you're on Windows with an AMD GPU, good luck getting CUDA to work. Most setups look like this: Docker for your containers, Ollama for your models, maybe a separate tool for monitoring, and none of them talk to each other properly. It's a mess. But here's the thing: if you're already using Docker, why add another tool to the stack? Last October, Docker made it generally available, added Vulkan support for AMD, Intel, and integrated GPUs, and open sourced the entire thing on GitHub. They also added VLLM support on Windows with NVIDIA and, most importantly, Docker Compose and test containers integration. Let me show you what's available. In Docker Desktop, click on Models in the sidebar. Then click the Docker Hub tab. This is your model marketplace. Look at what's here. DeepSeek, the latest reasoning model. Qwen 3 with 10,000 plus downloads. Kimi K2, Ministral 3, function calling models like function Gemma. You've got embedding models for RAG, re-ranker models, even multimodal models like Gemma 3N. Each model shows you the download count, star ratings, and a description. Click Pull on any model, and Docker handles everything: the download, the quantization format, the OCI packaging. No hunting for gguf files, no wondering if it's compatible. Once you've pulled models, switch to the Local tab. This shows everything you've downloaded. You can see the model size, the format, when it was pulled. Click on any model to see details or remove it to free up space. The Requests tab shows every inference call hitting your local models. You can see the endpoint, the model, the timestamp. If you're debugging why your agent isn't responding correctly, this is your first stop. And the Logs tab gives you real-time inference logs. Errors, warnings, token generation stats. No more wondering what's happening under the hood. But let's be honest, most of us live in the terminal. Here's the CLI workflow. First, list what's available using Docker model list. To pull a model from Docker Hub, use Docker model pull AI / the model name. To run it interactively, use Docker model run AI / model name and your query. Or you can pull directly from HuggingFace if the model isn't on Docker Hub yet with this command: Docker model pull hf.co followed by the provider and model name. These are the same commands you use for containers, so no new syntax to learn. Now here's the killer feature. Docker Model Runner exposes an OpenAI-compatible API automatically. This means any code written for OpenAI or any LLM that uses that API format just works. Let me show you. Here's a curl command fired towards the internal Docker API with the model parameters, and here's the response. Your LangChain apps, your Spring AI projects, your custom agents, point them at localhost and they work. One thing to note: to call the API from your host machine, you need to enable TCP access first using the below command. Docker Desktop enable Model Runner on TCP port 12434. You can choose any port number of your choice. And for teams worried about data privacy, your models run completely local. If you're building for HIPAA, GDPR, or any compliance-sensitive environment, this matters. This is part 1 of my Docker AI Stack series. If you're building production AI systems, subscribe. See you in the next.